Hello and welcome. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Samsung Galaxy S24's camera system and specifically how it handles wildlife photography. So if that sounds interesting, stay tuned. Let's get right into the video. So first of all, and most importantly, we're going to be taking a look at zoom. So the S24 does feature a 3x zoom lens, which is around the 35mm equivalent of a 70mm lens. So obviously you aren't going to be getting very tight shots, but it is a definite improvement to the sort of standard 1x lens that you do usually get with these types of cell phones. So here are some example shots. As you can see, it does have a very nice sort of 70mm look to it. Obviously, it wasn't designed to be much more than that in terms of focal length. But you can see it does get the job done fairly well, especially considering it is a cell phone. So next up comes image quality. Now let's take a look at the video first. So apparently the 3x zoom lens does shoot in 4K. However, as you can see in these examples here, it doesn't really look like 4K, especially when you zoom in. You see that there is quite a bit of over sharpening and overcompensation for something that is most likely much lower on the resolution scale, but it does suffice. So one thing I would just generally like coming from these sorts of cameras is to have a lower resolution from the beginning and then just avoid all of these sort of over sharpening stuff. And that will probably make many of our lives much easier, especially taking into consideration storage. In any case, here are some examples of it with regard to resolution. So here it is at 4K 60, 4K 30, and then here it is at 1080p 60 and 1080p 30. You can judge for yourself. I'm probably going to compare it with other cell phones, but feel free to compare it with whatever you want. So taking a look on the stills front, things are looking much more promising. As you can see, there are much more details being retained in the images. So unfortunately, you cannot adjust the aperture, but you can adjust the ISO and shutter speeds. So here's some examples of the ISO on the 3x zoom lens at 100, 200, 400, 800, 1600 and 3200. So as you can see, the entire image does tend to degrade quite a bit when you're making your way up to those higher numbers. To get the optimal results, I would probably stay under 200, although I might consider 400 as a sort of emergency option. Everything above that is just going to butcher the image, so I definitely not recommend going above that. So I think it would be safe to say that low light is not its strong point. However, taking a look at the standard image quality tests, which might offer something a bit more rewarding, here's some examples taken in much more optimal conditions. And as you can see, these images are lacking in detail quite a bit. So again, you can compare to whatever you like, but I'll probably say that objectively these pictures are a bit soft for my taste. So in conclusion, it is definitely something you can use if you don't want to bring your whole camera system along. It probably isn't going to be something that you're going to be able to put on social media, but for identification purposes, I would say it is definitely good enough. So if you like these types of videos, don't forget to subscribe and leave a thumbs up if that is something you're interested in. And until the next time reveals, bye for now.